Joined now by Prashant Khemka, founder of WhiteOak Capital Group. Prashant, very good morning to you and thank you so much for speaking with us. You know, unbothered largely speaking is what Indian markets seem to be saying, and the message that they're giving investors. Is there trouble brewing under the surface that we're not really seeing right now? How are you looking at the way markets are responding to all of the action and events in the last couple of days?
Sure, Tamanna. Thanks for having me on the show. So actually, I'm a bit surprised. I would have thought today there would be a bit of a relief rally.
Oh.
Yeah, so we might see a green market. But reality is not that the market was beat up much on worries around the Middle East conflict. So maybe, there wasn't, it wasn't that much of a rally I was thinking, but my gut feel was that it might be green, but obviously the markets are down, as you can see on the screen, by a percentage point or so. The reason I felt it could be a relief is because I think the actions over the weekend, the developments over the weekend, and not going into geopolitics, because I'm certainly not an expert on geopolitics, if at all in any subject, not going into who's right, who's wrong. But I do think this would lead to, it would result in a relative period of calm, or a period of relative calm. There could be some ripples, but there's nothing that suggests to me that it would escalate into a wider conflict. No other countries got involved. Obviously, US got involved, but when US gets involved, that in itself may lead others to stay out of it. Yeah. So that's how I view it. I would have expected, now that there is this risk that people are talking about Strait of Hormuz, but very little that I know about Strait of Hormuz. While it is 20% of global oil transits through there, 80% of that, or more than 80% of it, is the destination is Asia. Largest one being China, then India, South Korea, Japan. None of these countries had a role to play in war. None of these countries, against Iran in any, did not express anything, or there's no history of any animosity with Iran. So yes, I've read that the parliament has approved, if the leader there decides to shut down the Strait of Hormuz, but it's not going to hurt neither Israel nor US. So I just don't know whether it's just a belligerent act of, punishing someone in the world, then it's a different thing. But it is a self-inflicting wound as well. It's like apne pairo pe kulhadi types. They are one of the biggest beneficiaries of oil transport through Strait of Hormuz, and the other beneficiaries are all Asian countries. So why would someone do that? It's hard for me, but as I said, I'm not a expert in geopolitical strategy or anything. But it would seem to me that's not a high probability event, and even if it does materialize, I don't believe it is sustainable for any material period of time, because it inflicts more damage on Iran and other Middle East countries than anybody else.
Prashant, good morning. In some sense, what I'm trying to understand from your opening answer is that this could well mark the beginning of the end of the conflict, at least the one which has been the most recent one, which is involving Israel and Iran per se, right? And therefore, should that be viewed constructively for risk assets, given that the other conflicts still linger on?
I agree. I think you put it well, Neeraj. It could mark beginning of de-escalation or end, because the main area of concern was, for many years, was the potential nuclear capabilities that Iran was building. If indeed those capabilities have been set back, nobody knows for sure. America or Trump has claimed that those, as he put it, obliterated those capabilities and all. If indeed that is true, then that risk is no longer a risk that Israel or America want to eliminate anymore. So Israel and America are now that, yes, from our perspective, the job is done unless they find something contrary to their assumption that those capabilities are obliterated. Yeah, and once I think if America and Israel pull back, then it should lead to de-escalation of at least conventional warfare. Now there could be, that's why I'm not saying it would lead to peace, but it could lead to relative calm. On the surface, at least, the conventional warfare should calm down. Beneath the surface, it could be like there was in Cold War. Always, people are building their next step, but that could be very long period. It may not manifest itself in form of conventional warfare. Is my belief, naive belief, you may say.
Prashant, so then, from an investor perspective, it doesn't seem as bad, but no one, I think, is willing at this point to stick their neck out and saying all is well. We are in times where, you wake up.
Tamanna, the moment the market goes up 1%, everyone would say on your channel, all is well. It's just that market is 1% down. That's why people are assuming that market must be seeing something still of concern. And that is why all is not well.
No, Prashant, for a second, let's keep what the markets are doing today aside. Just the fact that, this was something that people didn't expect, that the US will actually go into Iran and bomb 3 nuclear sites and then wait and see what happens. We've not seen the what happens next. That's the only part that I'm trying to say. All right, you will keep this aside. We're 1% down. Should have been much more if there was any real concern as of this moment. But having said that, my question is then, is this a wait and watch kind of moment as you are looking at as an astute market reader? Is this a let's go all in while there is still turbulence moment? How are you feeling about the investment horizon in light of what's happening?
So certainly, I think, Tamanna, look, the oil markets, the way they have been behaving, and if you read and hear, obviously Trump is completely unpredictable for himself as well. So we can't say that based on his actions and comments, this was to be expected. But a lot of what he said over the last 2-3 weeks, and he was changing his comments in this direction, initially saying US has nothing to do with it. And then maybe in 2 weeks' time, he likes to keep that element of surprise. So it was building in the direction that US may get involved in some form or fashion. And they've done this in a clinical manner right now. Be that as it may, what is in the past, I think, yes, we always have to wait and watch how it comes through. All I'm saying is right now, based on what has already happened and what US is claiming that it is done, we are happy. We are satisfied with the outcome. Now, US is no longer the aggressor, and nor would Israel be anymore towards Iran. Now, Iran, whether it retaliates in a very aggressive form, it remains to be seen. And yes, that is a wait and watch. I am willing to, and obviously we are not betting anything in our portfolios basis this. This is just an entertaining, analysis of a geopolitical event. I would say that my bet would be that from here, regardless of commentary and maybe some actions which are, like minor ripples of the main event, but nothing that would perturb the market. And we should see de-escalation, at least from a conventional war perspective in Middle East, especially related to Iran, Israel.